So I started out on this epic adventure to do a complete ridge traverse of the Oquirrh Mountains. And I thought I'd start down in the southern part near Cedar Fort and go up the southern ridge line to Lewiston and then on to Flat Top and then continue my way on. And I had planned to go ahead and basically go halfway one day and then the next half the other day. So I parked my truck up Middle Canyon towards a place called White Pine. And it's about halfway. And the idea was to come off of the ridge towards the end and go ahead and camp the night and then get up the next morning and do the northern half of the Oquirrh Ridge line. When I started, it was in mid-October, and the problem was that it had an early snow, and there were several sections with quite a bit of snow on the trail. It slowed me down quite a bit and was a lot more tiring than I thought it was going to be. So what I did is I kept going, and I was hoping to be basically down off of into White Pine off of the saddle by the time it got dark. Well, I didn't make it that far. It was actually just south of Kelsey Peak. And when it started to get dark, and I came along and hit a section, and what you're supposed to do, which I had forgotten, is you're supposed to go down off the trail to the east side of the trail, and I'd kind of forgotten about it because it'd been a while since I'd been there, and it was dark and I didn't see the little turn. So I kept going straight and eventually get cliffed out there. And so I was like, oh crap, I must have forgotten I must have missed the trail. So I started going back, and as I started going back, it was probably going to be a little farther than I wanted. It was, like a few tenths of a mile back, and came back, and I kind of looked off to the west side and noticed that there was a little ledge and a way to go off on the west side. So I thought I would give that a try. So I kind of lowered myself down, kind of sat down on there and threw my poles down off of the little ledge. And then I was going to kind of jump down. And as I got down to make this jump, it's probably about a 10-foot ledge, the rock gave way and I fell off of that, and I started sliding down a scree field and slid about 100 feet. And I messed up my wrist. My wrist was actually going sideways, and you can see the picture of all the cuts on my face, but luckily no rocks, because there was rocks falling all around me. No rocks basically took me out, and eventually I had to call 911 and get a helicopter to come get me. And they had a hard time figuring out where they were going to land because of how steep. You can't land anywhere near the ridge, so they landed in Rocky Basin, which is several miles away, and then they had to climb in towards me and go up the scree field, and they had to get me, and they basically put one person right in front of me, one person right behind me, and we slowly made our way down. And it probably took 2 to 3 hours to get to the helicopter, and then a very, very short flight to make it to the hospital. In fact, you could almost see the hospital from the ridge I was at. I could see the Twila lights from where I was at pretty easily. So yeah, I made a mistake and fell off, and lucky to have survived it.
Peak on this adventure, Lewiston Peak. Coming from over there in Cedar Valley all the way up the ridge. There's a marker. I've come from this direction before. That's looking at Bald and Deseret back down there. And this is the way over to Flat Top. So that's next. Back to Lewiston, and then down the ridge that I came up. You can see all those ups and downs. You can see as I made it to here at Flat Top, there's snow on the top. Between Lewiston and Flat Top, anywhere up to like 2 feet of snow in some of the drift spots, regardless of where it was. Even on the flats, there's quite a bit of snow. The only spot that really did was coming up just this face part a little bit. There still was at least a few inches in most cases. Tried to go hop from rock to rock a little bit. So now on to the next one, on to Low, Kelsey, etc. That direction. So this is peak 9925 between Flat Top and Low. There's Low up in front of me. Looking back towards Utah County. There's Flat Top. Skied down that basically. Bare feet, anyways. Just came from this way. If you look down there in the distance, that's Oquirrh. I believe it's Sharp and Bald. Mountains right there. Oh, and then that's going to be Water Fork right there. No. So onward this way. Made it to Low Peak. Struggle coming up that 1,500 feet to here. There's the flag. Not many flags they go through, but and there's a little building down there. Lost it there. There's Rocky over there. Kelsey in the distance. White Pine over there to Butterfield. Able to see West, Clipper, Nelson, Farnsworth off of there. I'm struggling though, coming up those. The elevation's killing me. A little tired. Here we go. Down.